In this video, I'm going to redesign the 2022 Ford F-150 Lightning into a single cab, mean-looking SVT Lightning truck. But before we do that, let's go back in time. The 1993 SVT Ford F-150 Lightning was Ford's entry into the performance sports truck market. It was powered by a 5.8-liter Windsor V8 that was tuned to deliver 240 horsepower and 340 pound-feet of torque, which was 25 horsepower and 15 pound-feet of torque more than the standard F-150 of the time. Today, this first-generation Lightning could not win a drag race against a base 2022 F-150, but that's not what it's about, is it? This is about nostalgia, going back to an analog time with crank windows and cassette players. It's about the personality of a special truck, and I'd say trucks of the 80s and the 90s simply had more of it. The first F-150 Lightning only lived for 2 years, from 1993 to 95, and during that time, only 11,500 were ever made, and if you manage to find one in good condition, expect to pay up to $40,000 for it. In 1999, Ford introduced the second generation Ford F-150 Lightning. It followed the melted cheese trend of the time with much more rounded surfacing, making it look almost like a bodybuilder compared to the first generation. I think it's a beautiful truck with a front headlight and grille treatment that reminds me of the R129 Mercedes SL, but in a truck form. It's clean and elegant. This beast was powered by a 5.4-liter V8 engine. It has a 3-inch exhaust and a fantastic sound, cranking out 360 horsepower and 440 pound-feet of torque. It was lowered an inch in the front, giving it this mean stance in combination with the 295mm wide rear tires with 18-inch wheels. The second generation Lightning lasted for 6 years, from 99 to 2004, and during this time, it had many updates done to it. Some of the more noticeable ones were the silver metallic paint introduced in 2000, and it also got a power boost of 20 horsepower, which boosted it up to 380 horsepower in 2001. And in 2002, Ford added a blue color option called True Blue, which I think looks absolutely stunning. The second generation was discontinued in 2004 with just over 25,000 trucks built. And with the new Lightning being electric and a crew cab, I thought it would be interesting to redesign it into an homage to the previous generation, shorten the wheelbase, lower it, and just make it look mean. I think the Ford F-150 Lightning is one of the coolest trucks ever made, and I'm going to show you just the differences in design philosophy and the trends of the time. Looking at the 1993 up here and compare it to the 1999, you can see just how much boxier this design is. I still think it's a clean design because we have a clear separation of the front, the top half of the front end compared to the sporty lower end of the bumper here as well, with the integrated fog lights, and you also have this lip down here which brings the car lower to the ground. This was also lowered an inch like we have in the front end, like we have in the 1999. And then they kind of took this design and modernized it for the times of early 2000s by having a lot more rounded shapes. And for some reason, I think this looks bigger than the first generation, even though they were pretty similar size. But what I love about this design is just how clean it is. And you have a connection in the graphics of the grille, for example, in the top half of the front end. It also has the same connection in the lower part. So we have almost like a miniature or squeezed grille that we have in the top is almost coming back in the same style in the lower part. And you can see that the fog lights found their new place, their new home at the very end of the bumper. I think that looks really good because it widens the front end of the car and it makes it look aggressive, and also the stance with the lowered front end and the 295 wheels in the back. Now popping in the 2022, you can see that there is something just lacking here with the new 2022 Lightning. It just doesn't have the same vibe as the previous generations. That's one way I can put it. it still looks relatively good, but it still looks like a very stock F-150 Lightning. There's nothing, F-150 I mean, there's nothing really special about this truck that makes it look sportier like we have in the SVT here, for example. And that's where I want to change with this redesign. Now, I said that I don't think the 2022 model is going to have, it has the same personality, strong personality as the previous two generations, but I don't know if that's gonna change. If we look back 25 years from now to the current 2022 Lightning, maybe we will think of it as having a personality, but I just can't see how that's gonna happen. It is a very clean, simple, very conservative design that really doesn't have anything to do with the previous generation's two super sporty versions of the F-150. This is an electric truck, as you know. It's really fast, quick, powerful, but that's not what this is all about. It's, as I said before, it's about the vibe and the personality, the characteristics that you get from a truck. And I think this is lacking in that department, and that's kind of what I want to change, at least visually, with this redesign. So of course, what we need to do if we want to turn this F-150 Lightning 2022 model into a proper SVT style Lightning, first of all, we need to remove the two rear doors and turn this into a single cab. I think single cab trucks, modernized, the modern ones, the Rams, the Fords, and the Chevys, I think they look really cool, and they look special because there are not many of them out on the streets, and specifically when they sit lower on very big wheels and tires with low profile tires. It's a special category of car, these trucks. And I think Ford, it would be really cool to see something like this, because if we lower the F-150 Lightning, it's gonna, since it's an electric vehicle, if you want to sell this to the upper management of Ford, you can say that removing two doors and just turning it into a single cab, shorter wheelbase, lower it to the ground, it's going to potentially increase the range of this truck. And since it is a very quick truck, it also makes sense from that aspect to lower it a little bit and create a version of the F-150 Lightning that is a clear homage to the previous generation's F-150 Lightnings. And I had a lot of fun with this. I think this turned out really cool. I think this is a Shelby front end, and also color matched it to this deep, almost blood red color that we have here. I think this color would suit a new F-150 Lightning as well. It's almost like a modern take on the very clear red colors of the past. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, and also check out this video right here where I modernize a Ford Mustang Fox body. Had a lot of fun doing that as well, so check that out right here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.